So you're all welcome to this year's event. This event is one of the reasons why we are having this event is to celebrate. Yeah, nice to see you. It's been a long time. Okay, so that's Odumero. She's going to be our speaker. Yeah. I actually met her during a mentorship session we had on Zindi. Zindi is a platform where you do machine learning and data science. They organize a lot of competitions. So you get to hear from her. So getting down to business, one of the reasons why we wanted to do such a program like this is because of the struggles we've had. And in the course of the meeting, you will hear about our struggles and how we overcame them and how we are also overcoming them, because it's not something like you do it and then it's done. It's a continuous process. And Ikeif is the company that is actually hosting this. We started in the year 2022, that's last year. And since then, we've been trying to equip people with digital skills. So our aim is to equip people with digital skills. So it's not just, although most people know us as data science related, but we actually do other things such as helping people to gain digital skills. So by the end of this program, I believe you'll be more enlightened about what some aspects of tech actually, and how to navigate your career in tech. So I quickly want to make a welcome to Odumero. She's actually a friend, although we don't talk that much, but whenever I call her, she's always available. I really disturbed her. I remember the year we were also in Tech for Dev, right? Yeah. So there were times I would call her and then she would help me in some of the things I needed to do. So you see, in tech, one thing you have to remember is that you can't do things alone. So you always have people that you always need to ask people for help. So I think that was something that drew me to her, that she was very helpful. And as well, let me read a short bio about her. She's experienced in finance, data analytics, and also a software engineer. She's also currently undergoing her master's degree in data science and business analytics at the University of Warsaw in Poland. And Odumero believes that everyone has the potential to be proficient and people can be inspired. So you're welcome. You can have the floor, Meryl. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ifoma. I was just laughing so much when you went to Zindi and Tech for Dev. I'm like, yeah, the good stories and good memories. And so I'm going to get started right away. I'll quickly share my screen. I have a slide prepared. We can all see the Zoom bit, right?
Yes, we can.
Oh,
yes.
thank you. So I'm going to just... Okay, hello everyone. Good evening to everyone here, and happy International Women's Day to everyone. Thank God we are live to witness another International Women's Day. Really, it's a day that some of us look forward to, because I think it's one of the days you get to hear very nice things about women, and yeah, a lot of nice stories and sweet stories. And yeah, we should not feel good about ourselves only on this day, but certainly also on every other day. And the theme for this year's International Women's Day event is Embrace Equity. It's a global theme that is accepted like worldwide by everyone. And that's what everyone is using to celebrate today, embracing equity. And I don't know if you all can see me. I think this is how it goes. embracing equity. Yeah. So the presentation today will be on the bold woman, navigating your way in tech, the bold woman, because truly anybody who is able to navigate his or her way in tech is really a bold person. It is not for the faint-hearted, I must say. It takes someone of courage, someone who is strong enough and strong-willed to be able to get started in tech and continue in tech. Just like Ikeif said in the opening remark, that is a continuous process. Is a continuous process. So we'll be looking at introduction, and afterwards we'll cover a section on developing skills, another section on portfolio building, and there will be another section on networking. Okay, so for introduction, we'll look at the tech industry for a start. That's just what we're going to look at. What do we know about the tech industry? You want to come into tech, at least you must have a little understanding of what goes on in that industry. What's that industry about? And the first thing we must know about the tech industry is that it's one that is rapidly evolving. There are constant changes. You know, when they say the only constant thing in life is change, tech is one of those industries that change is like one thing that is constant when it comes to the tech industry. You have to be someone who can adapt and someone who is willing to upskill, to learn. So you have to be ready always to learn. So anybody coming into tech that reaches out to me and say, I don't know, I'm looking at switching to tech, the first thing I tell them is, are you a learner? Are you ready to learn all the rest of your life? Like, this is not, you learn now and you are done with the learning process. It's like you're in a school 247. I'm not saying it to scare us, no, but it's to prepare our minds that if you want to survive in this industry, you have to be one who is always willing to learn, because it's an industry where things are always changing. You might be used to, there are some programming languages that have been used of old, like C, C++. Those are like old languages, right? And you have the new ones coming on board. You have like Python. Python is fairly new. And people who have learned those old languages, some of them have to start learning some of the new technologies that are coming on board for them to be able to keep up. And that brings us to the next characteristics of the tech industry, is one that is highly competitive. And one thing I must tell us is it has a lot of opportunities. It has a lot, a whole world of opportunities are available in the tech industry. And you can grow and you can be successful. And when I mean growth, I think I would categorically say that tech industry is that one industry where you can experience sporadic growth, like, or let me use the word geometric growth for those that did mathematics. Like the growth is, when I get to start telling my stories, I think then we'll get to understand the growth I'm talking about when it comes to tech. And we also have the tech industry is one that have diverse domains, so many different paths, so many different moving parts, all the way from front-end engineering to back-end to data to product design to product management. It's so wide. So mobile development is so wide that there are so many things you can specialize in. It's not a one-way thing, no. It has so many moving parts to it. And also another sweet, I must say this is like the number one interesting thing about tech, is the fact that it is global. Tech is global. It's not something that is limited to your nationality, is not limited to your region. It's not limited to a region. So if you get to learn a tech skill now, it is something that is accepted worldwide. That's one beautiful thing I must say about tech. Unlike some other industries, I'm coming from the finance industry. And in finance, in accounting, it's just like the certification I have, my ICANN certification is limited to certain countries. The country I'm currently in, I can't use that certification in this country. It's not like accepted. But when it comes to tech skills, once you get a skill, you get certifications, you can present them anywhere they are accepted. And I must say that's one sweet thing about tech. So when you learn it, it's something that comes handy and it's something that is recognized worldwide. So I hope with that, we would be really encouraged to want to at least take a step to know what is even in this industry and how we can then navigate through it. I had to start from this because when you want to navigate through something, first of all, you have to know exactly what you're coming into so you can properly navigate and move through it. My fellow women, here are some tips for you when it comes to finding your way through the tech industry. The first is develop skills. That's the first skill. That's the first tip. Develop skills. You can't survive anywhere without abilities. And abilities are gotten many a times from knowledge. You have to keep learning. The more you learn, the more you get to know something, and then you can see, okay, I'm able to do this thing because I know it, because I have learned about it, because I have a sufficient knowledge of it. So we have to grow skills. We have to keep learning. Let me start with keep learning. For those of us that have never come into it, we have to start with learning. We have to start with gaining knowledge. And on developing skills, I took out the time to just prepare some few slides to give us just a glimpse of what possibly some knowledge of tech. So when you use these words outside, people can say, okay, you are getting warmed up to get started. But when someone asks you, tech domains, do you know any tech domain? Okay, what are the tech parts? And you can't even answer like such simple questions, then you're not even ready to get started, right? But when you're able to talk about, at least I have an understanding of that you have the front end part of tech, you have the back end part of tech. When someone hears you saying that, person will say, okay, a tech person will say, you are getting warmed up, like you are ready to get started. So the first thing is, I want us to at least be exposed to the tech domains. One of them is front-end software engineering. We have the back-end software engineering. Out there, there are some other nomenclature that is also used for this, right? Like the front-end software engineering, some people just call it software web development. But the truth is, web development is part of software development, right? So but front end remains front end. When you go out there, the word front end does not change. It's the same word. Some people just call it front end engineering without even adding the software. So don't get mixed up with it. They are one and the same thing. So we have the front end software engineering, or just engineering. We have the back end software engineering. There's the UI UX design. Out there also is also called the product design. Some people refer to it as a product design. And some people refer to UI UX as a subset of product design. So, and we also have the data analytics, and we have the product management. There are some other parts that are not here, right? There's also the mobile development. And there's the project management also. So I hope with this, we have at least some ideas, some understanding of tech domains. Then for the tech domain, I took out, I wanted to just, I limited the scope of the presentation to front end and back end. Because coming into tech, most times, these are like the two starting points for a lot of persons. Though some people also start from UI, UX design. Possibly when we're answering some questions and having some other conversations, I would touch the other tech domains. But for the purpose of this presentation, I will stick with front end and back end. So for front end, the first thing, we have the programming languages and we have the web frameworks. And for the programming languages, there's the HTML, which is like the basic language you should know to even get started with front-end software engineering. And HTML, I'm sorry, I thought I would have enough time to put in some snippets of each of the language so you see what it looks like, but I was not able to. Maybe I'll just open my Visual Studio Code and just show you later on what they look like. So you have the HTML. It's a language that has its own structure. It has its own syntax, right? It's just like you have English language and you have your local dialects. It's a language like English language, a language like our local dialect, because it has it has its own way of writing it out. There are some things some principles you have to follow. It has this unique way of writing out the language, the syntax. Most times we use the word syntax. So the CSS also is a unique language on its own. So the HTML, I think it stands for the Hypertext Markup Language. When I got into tech, this was the first thing I started with. And okay, I will come to the stories later on. I really don't want to have stories inside this presentation. And there's the CSS, that's the cascading style sheet. It's majorly for styling. And you have the JavaScript, is majorly for the functionality of the website, right? And you have jQuery, which is a bit similar to JavaScript. And you also have the web frameworks for front end. You have the React.js. The JS there is JavaScript. So it's only trying to tell you that React was built on JavaScript. So for you to even understand React very well, you should have at least some knowledge of JavaScript syntax. Also, the Vue.js was built with JavaScript, and also the Angular JS. Also, on the back end side of things, the programming languages are different. And the only similar programming language here is the JavaScript. So JavaScript is used for front end and also used for back end. But there are some languages that are strictly for back end. They really don't work for front end. And you have the Python. Python is a back end language. They also call them server languages. Most times when you hear back end, most times it's like, you also hear the word server go with it. Server side of things. And the front end, they call it the client side of things. So programming languages, you have Python, you have PHP, you have JavaScript, you have Java, you have Ruby. I'm trying not to go too deep because I know some of us here are quite new and it's more like possibly our first time even hearing some of these things. So I really don't want to dive too deep into them. And we also have the web frameworks, Django. And now one thing about the back end is that web frameworks are limited to programming languages. So they are built with certain programming languages. So like Django, for you to use Django web framework, you have to understand Python because it's built with Python. Flask also is built with Python. Laravel is built with PHP. Express works with JavaScript. Spring works with Java. Ruby on Rails works with Ruby. We'll continue also to resources, right? I have some resources here. So while I'm talking, possibly for those of us who are really ready to get started, we can take notes of some of these resources. And there are a whole lot more out there. W3 Schools is one. All the resources here are resources I have made use of, excluding Code Academy. I've not worked with Code Academy, but it's one of the websites out there. You can learn coding for free. All these websites here are for, like Coursera. Coursera have paid courses, but even for the paid courses, you can go through the courses without having to pay. It's just that you won't. There are some parts of it that will be hidden from you. You can't maybe submit assignments or do exercises, right? But you can still read and learn, watch videos on Coursera for some of the courses. W3 Schools is more of text. There's no video tutorial there. It's a text. You read up and you have your online editor where you can practice, right? You don't need to start downloading the things you need to get started with any of those programming languages. You don't need to download you don't need to download maybe Python or download any of those languages to get started. W3 Schools, everything is there on the website. So you get started on the website without you downloading anything on your system. Also, the Free Code Camp is a great place to learn coding. YouTube is an awesome place. You have to use it to learn, especially building projects. Especially when it comes to building projects, YouTube is very great for that. You have Coursera, Data Camp, and also Code Academy. They are great resources. I would encourage us to work with them. And we'll look at building a good portfolio. So when it comes to building a good portfolio just have to do with more like you showcasing your skills and abilities. And you do it through projects. When they ask you, you can meet someone possibly for internship. Maybe you are into tech for like 6 months and you're like, oh, and please, I'm looking out for a job. And the first thing they ask you is, let me see your portfolio. Let me see what you've done. Let me see what you've built. Let me see what you've created. Let me see your portfolio. Show me your portfolio. Portfolio is just things you've created. We call them projects that you've built, that you've worked on, right? It can be personal projects or group projects. I would encourage us that the first step, as we talked about, is you even knowing, having the knowledge. You can't come to portfolio when you've not gotten the knowledge. So the first step is getting the knowledge, getting the skills. And as you get them, you can't know it all, trust me. Even people who are senior developers or senior managers, and they don't know it all. They are still learning every day. So one thing in tech I would greatly advise is, as you learn, you practice. So if you've learned a bit about HTML, try to design something. Try to design something, any little thing, any little website you can think of. It might just be a website for as basic as maybe a little e-commerce site, or even take out e-commerce and maybe a static web page for a makeup artist, just to book appointments, for our clients to book appointments. Just get started bit by bit. And as you build, those are your projects. Those are the things that make up your portfolio. And also, if you feel also you can't do it alone, you can look for like-minded people like you and work on group projects. I've learned a lot from group projects because you get to work with people, and these people might have learned something a bit, some of them might be higher than you when it comes to knowledge. So you learn from them. And some of them also, you might also know more than they do. And you also like help them. Even while someone is helping you, you're also helping someone else. So working on group projects is really a great one. And it also helps to showcase a skill we call team building, like teamwork is a skill out there that you have to most times be able to have on your resume for people to even come. Because when you go out there in the industry, you'll be working with people. You won't be working on your own. It's not going to be a one-man thing. You'll always work with people. So if you don't have those teamwork skills, but with group projects, that way, when someone sees that, oh, you have a group project in your portfolio, they'll say, oh, meaning this person can actually work with people, right? That's one thing they would infer. This person can work with people. And on the other side of the slide, we have GitHub and personal website. Those two things are more like places you can have your projects. You can have your projects on GitHub. You can have your projects on your personal website. And it depends on the part of IT or the part of tech you are looking at. Most times, maybe for people into UI, UX design, I really don't think they work much with GitHub. So possibly some of them work with GitHub still, and some of them just have their personal website where they post their designs. Some of them have their personal websites where they post their designs, but for the front-end engineers and back-end engineers, most of them, you have to work with GitHub. Because GitHub also, through GitHub, you also do collaboration. GitHub also helps with teamwork. It's not something your personal website can do. So there are some tech domains that work with GitHub for projects, and there are some that it's more of personal website. But the sweet thing is, or the good thing is, if you can have both of them, is a plus. Even for the front end guys, GitHub is very essential, but that does not mean they don't have a personal website. Most of them also have a personal website. So let's move forward. I'm trying to work with time. So we'll look at networking. That's another tip I'm going to leave with us this evening, networking. Networking has to do with you being able to have a community. Network are more like people. In economics, we call it social capital. We call it social capital. So network strictly is people, is community of people, right? And there are lots of them out there. So in tech, you can't be a standalone in tech. You can't say you want to ride alone in tech. You won't grow fast. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's not advisable because you won't grow fast. So it's always nice when you join communities. Online communities are there. You have, just like the organization that hosted this seminar this evening, Ikeif is there. You have She Codes Africa. You have Zindi. She talks about Zindi, and that's where we first met. And afterwards, we met at Tech for Dev. You also have Women Who Codes. And I think the first internship job I got for tech, I got it from She Codes Africa. So, because they just posted, people just keep posting, oh, there's this job here. And I just applied to one, and luckily enough, I got called for an interview. Right? So you can see how communities help. And also She Codes Africa really helped with, they also had like a community where they have different domains, and they have people who give you like things like they have like a plan, a walkthrough plan for growth, for upskilling, things you need to learn. For data science, you need to learn NumPy, you need to learn Pandas, you need to learn Excel, things like that. They had like a curriculum for it. So belong to community. It does not have to be one. As many communities out there as you can join, but please let it not be too much, because at the end of the day, you won't really be active in when it's too much. So if it's maybe 2, 3, just join communities and be active. And that way you get to grow. And also join, you can also attend tech events, meetups, conferences. There's this platform called, I think, meetup.com. I'm really not sure, but I would check later on and drop the link. I think it's global. I don't think it's restricted to Nigeria. So you can join different type of events. And that way you get to learn. You might just go home with something from that event. And you also get to maybe meet people in that event. It's possible you're attending a global event and you maybe find, I think almost everyone here is in Nigeria. Maybe you get to even find your fellow, just one extra Nigerian person. You would always reach out and, oh, hi, I'm also in Nigeria, because at least there's a reason, there's a common ground on which you both can connect. And also LinkedIn is out there for networking and tech trainings, just like Tech for Dev, which is the second place me and Ifoma met. Undergo a training program for a period of, I think it was a 1-year program Ifoma, I think. So you also attend tech trainings. That way you get to meet people, you get to connect with people. And trust me, you don't know where these people would, how am I going to put it? Like there are times you just meet, it's possible you've met this person at this point in your life, right? And it's possible you guys even lost connection, but you already built a relationship and you might meet sometime later on. And it goes on, and it's possible you're even looking for a job, like I have an opening in my company. A lot of people get jobs through referrals. And that is because of connection, because of networking. So I encourage us to please build good networks. I'm someone who can be shy, maybe reaching out to people I can be, but at a point in time, I had to, let me say, drop it a little, because you can't survive with such attitude. So you have to put yourself out there. Be friendly. There's nobody who does not love a friendly person. So you can just walk up to someone random, like, oh, at a tech meetup, maybe it's a physical event. Oh, hi, my name is Odomeru. Please, may I get to meet you? I'm this. And oh, I'm this, I attend this. That way you get talking and you connect. Connection does not mean best of friends, does not mean friendship, no. But have a network of people that you need something, you can always go to them, and they also need something, they can come to you. That way also you get to grow, you get to learn. I'm sorry I'm dwelling so much on network, but it's very important, it's very essential to growth in the tech industry. And the next would be get a mentor. But for mentorship, really, there's really no, how does the saying go? One shoe fits all, right? I have mentorship here for certain persons, is an advice, right? Going through tech, I would say, yeah, I had some mentors, right? But maybe not really very strong mentors, but I had people who got me started. And that way I could continue. So please get mentors, get people, we can also call them accountability partners. People who can hold you accountable. People who can help you build a timetable. Right now is what I also do for some of my friends and some of my family members who want to go into tech. I had to build a software engineering curriculum for them. I built a data science curriculum for them, for those who want to go data science line, and hold them accountable for it. So timely goals. You are to learn HTML. Learn maybe for HTML, you have to learn about how to make use of tables, right? Or maybe navbar, how to create your header, your navbar. And you have to learn that for 1 week or for 3 days. And by that time, your accountability partner comes back to you and requests to show me what you've done. So get a mentor. They will also help push you, because sometimes you might feel weak. It can happen to anybody. Sometimes you just get tired and you just need someone to give you a little push and someone to hold you accountable. So please, you can get a mentor, someone who has some knowledge in where you are going to. At least the person has more knowledge than you have regarding that subject matter. And yeah, so that would be all. And in conclusion, I would want to say, sorry, please, a minute. I would want to, is a write-up I had somewhere, and I want to say, I believe that everyone has the potential to be proficient. And people can be inspired. I want to leave us with those words. Everyone has the potential to be proficient, to be knowledgeable, to be skilled. Everybody has the potential. Even someone who does not know A. The truth is, if the person is willing, the person can get to know A. So everyone has that potential. You just need to bring it out. You just need to put in effort. We all have the potential to be proficient, and we all can be inspired. So I would leave us with those words. And once again, I want to say Happy International Women's Day. And let's all embrace equity today and always. So I don't know, we could all like just maybe embrace equity, like, because that's some gestures really go a long way. You can talk to yourself, just embrace equity and talk to yourself, like,
We can all put on our cameras and just take a
yeah,
bow.
embrace equity, please.
That. Can we all put on our camera and just
Well, some people might not really be in the position to put on their cameras, but please, just embrace equity, right?
Yeah,
and let's always get to encourage ourselves. Women are strong, like motivators, I must say. Women are strong. They can do whatever they set their mind to. They can do whatever they set their mind to. We all can achieve it. So let's keep pushing and encouraging each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Meryl. I'm so glad to, in fact, it was on focus. You know, for something like this, you actually have to pay heavily for it. But Meryl actually gave you a course, like how to get into software engineering. Thank you so much. We are so glad, we are so grateful. But we would also like to hear your story, because I think stories are something that you see, you try to resonate with, and then you kind of find your person. So I remember for me, I would say I've always been in tech, but not really. So when I went for my master's, I needed to really function, right, in tech. So I had to learn how to code. Like, I had to really learn. And then there was a time I think I was sort of a bit depressed and worried. So what I started to do, first of all, the first training I joined was AI Wednesdays, because my master's was on data science and I needed to learn data science. So I joined AI Wednesdays. Next, I joined Zindi. And then I also joined I also joined Tech for Dev. So I think those were the things that actually built me up. And then I went into a group, like Meryl was saying, you go into a group and then you find people that can help you and people you can also help. I think those were the things that kept me going. So maybe Meryl, you can give us a little background about how you got into tech, since you are even from like a financial background. Yeah.
Okay. Well, story so far. I we are going to start from. So I was working as an accountant, as a finance officer with EcoBank Development Company. It's the financial assets management side to EcoBank. And when the IT guys come around to fix our systems and we're having issues, it was more like we were always at their mercy, right? And there are times we just be stuck somewhere and we can't do anything else until they come to assist us. And when they come, they always like, people will not give us, like, there's this respect for them, I would say. We need you people. We know you guys should stop putting that. We know we need you guys. And from there, I think I started talking to the IT manager, like, how far now, guys? Sure, you will not recruit me in your team. My supervisor was like, you're not going anywhere, don't even bother. I'm like, I'm tired of accounting, doing one thing. So let me just cut the long story short so I don't take too long. So first of all, I used to love accounting very much. I wanted to be an accountant right from when I was a child. That's how much I loved accounting. Right when I was in primary school, I knew what I wanted to be in life, and that was an accountant. But going forward, at that point in time, accounting became boring. It was a routine. And I came to understand I'm not someone who likes routine jobs. I'm not someone who likes routine. And saying IT, and another encouragement actually was the fact that I got married to someone who was into tech. So that was a strong motivation. Yeah. And I saw the way his growth was, and it was really, at a point, it was alarming. I'm like, are you people sure it's not just people are using this your tech industry? Like, and the growth is, you can't even explain it. And he's able to change jobs like when he wants. I'm like, okay. Unlike we in accounting, I was working with EDC for like 2 years plus, and at a point I'm like, okay, let me start looking out for other jobs. I kept sending that CV. I did not even get one. I kept sending that series until I actually got employment some years with Ikeja Electric. But even when I went to Ikeja Electric, I'm like, okay, something different. Let me still see. And it was a bit into accounting, but not really accounting, more of auditing. I'm like, let me observe and see if maybe the passion for accounting will come back and I don't have to start looking for some years to run. So that at that point, I'm like, no. So number one, what's your motivation? Motivation for me is the cash, the growth, and the non-routine nature of the work. I'll say those three things were the motivation for tech. And another strong motivation was work-life balance, I would say. So with tech, at least most companies began to embrace hybrid system of work from home. Some even do total remote. Some do hybrid. Work from home, come to the office some days. People started embracing that. And it's not all jobs that can work. For accounting jobs, you can't do hybrid system, work from home. And it's not possible. Because there are more sensitive issues. There are money issues. So you can't do. So I knew I want to be in a place where I'll be able to be a mother, right? And still be able to pursue career. Not getting to that point in my life, you have to choose between career and family. Especially living in a place like maybe if we are familiar with Lagos, Nigeria, the hustle and bustle. So those are my motivation for getting into tech. And like I said, I started at Ikeja Electric, I started learning on my own. I started with HTML, W3 schools. HTML, CSS, those are the things I started with. So when I close from work on my way back in the bus, on my phone, I read through HTML. And when I get home, most times I'm really exhausted. I won't lie about that. It was really difficult keeping up. It was weekends. Some weekends I get to work on tech. But at a point, I decided if you want to do tech, with this one you are doing bit by bit, there's no way you will get into it. You have to make a decision. It was a critical decision. It's not one I would advise. It takes a strong-willed person to make such decision. I actually decided to let go of my job and focus and learn and grow my skills. And for people who want to do that, I would advise you first have a working plan. If it's to save up money for like a year, like funds that will cover you for a year, you have to do that first. Like for a colleague that came to me, I told him, you're a married man. Don't go and be leaving your job and say you want to pursue tech. Please don't do that. I encouraged him and he said, okay, possibly he would try and pay his rent, you get 2 years. And I'm like, have those plans, right? And that way you can say, okay, let me leave this for like 6 months and focus solely and learn. Because there are some jobs that really will not give you time to learn. And still there are some jobs actually that will give you, that you have enough time. There are some people who did not have to quit their jobs and they were still able to migrate into tech. So that was how I got in. I started learning on my own. At a point, I quitted my job and focused fully on learning. Yep. And after a period of learning, it was for a long time, I would say. I was expecting maybe 3 months, 6 months, but it was way longer than 6 months. And I got an internship opportunity. Though the pay was very tiny, like it's knowing where I'm coming from, some people won't, as a person's really, I choose what saluted my courage, like you'll not be collecting 50,000 from how much you were earning before. I'm like, I really don't mind. Even one of the internships I got one with OP for 30,000. And I got another one I got was for, I think about 50 or 70,000. It was 50,000 initially, yeah. But later on, I think they reviewed to 70, right? That money was quite, it was little, but for me, I did not even care if they were never going to pay me. Honestly, I was not even about the money. I wanted to just grow my skills. Because I know by the time I'm good enough, the money will come. The money will come. So start small, even when you want to get started with internships, if it's even 10,000. I have a friend currently, she's a product designer, and she said she's currently running internship without payment. And I'm like, yeah, it can be, but don't just do it and do it for the knowledge sake. And you can also have it in a resume, right? And if you open opportunities, open doors to other, to more opportunities. So I would stop here.
We are far, far behind schedule. So I think one thing would, I think you've already touched the issue about getting a job. So one way of getting a job is to get into internships. And then even though the money is very small, you are trying to build experience, right? Okay, so I think we've answered that question. One thing we wanted to do today was to teach. I know a lot of us know this, or maybe not all of us, but since we are doing a digital program, we just thought about, okay, doing something like a short how to teach you how to use Google Form. But before that, we have a quiz that we want you to do. And then we are going to give prizes to the top 5 people, but we are not so many. So the top 3 people, I'll share the link right now for us to get into that.
I shared the code already, so I think with the code, okay, yes, so you can also drop the Slido link. So you just put in the code when you get the link.
Okay. So sorry, can you share it?
A minute, I shared the code already. So for the other link, that's just Slido.
Okay, I think you only shared it to me. Let me share it to everyone. So this is the link. Sorry.
I'm dropping a shorter link now. I just dropped that now. So
Okay.
you click on it.
Sorry, can you share the code to the WhatsApp group? I think that would be better.
Okay, so this is the link and this is the code. I'll send it on the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Meryl, how many minutes is the quiz?
No, it's not so long, 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. So
Yes, 2
is there
minutes.
a timer?
Yes, there's a timer. So it counts down. So if everybody is ready, you can tell me you're ready, then I get started.
Yeah, so let's all get into that link and then put in. So it seems like you have to sign up, right? Or you don't?
No. For participants, you're not signing up. Just there's a place there, you see joining as a participant, enter code. So you just enter the code, the 454055649.
So is this hash part of the code?
No, it's not. I think there's already a hash there. So just the numbers alone.
Okay. So let's get started. Okay, when we are ready, if we have up to 3 persons ready, I think we can go. Who else is ready aside from Patsy?
Okay, I just launched the quiz now. I
Okay.
can't see anybody on it yet.
Patsy, are you sure you are there? How many people have been able to get to the link? So you click
There's
on
Thelma right now.
Thelma is there. Okay, so me too, I want to win something. No, so let me play as well. Okay, so let's get writing. We've spent quite some time already.
Okay, I think you all can see my screen, so you can see the number of people there right now. There's Fatima, we have like 4 persons right now.
Yeah, so let's see.
Okay. So should we get started or should we wait for more persons to join in?
How do I connect to it, please? Thank you.
Okay, so you just click on the link there, and there's a place where you're going to see join. You're going to see this joining as a participant, and you enter the code 405. The code is has been shared on the WhatsApp group, and also it's available here on the Microsoft, on the Zoom link.
Okay. So who else is joining? Okay, I think you can look. We still have 4 people.
Guys, still 4%.
Okay, 1 more minute. But meanwhile, I hope we learned 1 or 2 things. Well, I know we learned a lot actually from this event. So we'll be holding subsequent events like this. And then at ikeif.org, we actually hold programs of this nature to help people get into tech. We are currently holding a data science class. We started in January and it will end in April. So for those people that want to join, they can reach out to me. Maybe they can join the So I think, Mary, I think you can go ahead and start. Please.
Oh, okay. Someone was asking how to join. Has she been able to?
Okay. So have you been able to join? I didn't really look at her name. Is that Hafsa? Okay, let me put the link again.
You can also share the link on the WhatsApp group also.
Yeah. It's there. So it's called participant what?
Sorry?
The field where you enter the link is participant code, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're entering the code in this joining as a participant. I'm sharing my screen. So that's where you enter the code. The hash, then the 405.
Okay, 5 users have joined. I think we can go ahead.
Okay, that's
Let me-
fine.
I can't see the questions. Please, I want to win too.
No,
Yeah.
hold on. Questions are coming. Okay, so we can get started.
Okay.
I have 6 persons now.
Yeah. I can't see that my screen has changed.
A minute, I'm trying to. Okay, quiz is started. Can you see anything now?
Yes, I can.
So there's already, I'm sure there's a timer on your screen. So it's counting down currently. Nice. So I think I need to stop sharing my screen at this point.
Okay. Oh, is it just one question?
No, it's not just one question.
Okay.
Another one is going to pop up.
Don't even understand what's happening. Have you done the question
How do
already?
you get answering it? I don't understand exactly. I don't get what is going on.
All right.
Okay. So for those that were signed in, I'm sure a question popped up, or you did not see any question at all.
I didn't see any question. No.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Meryl, can you share your screen and just show us how to do it?
Okay, so let me. But if did you get it from your end?
Yes, I did. I'm seeing a second question again.
So can we see the second question? For those that already signed in with their hashtag, can we see the second question? Okay, so 6 persons actually responded to this question. Okay, I'm sure we can see the correct answer also on our end.
Oh, blessing got all.
But we're not done. So I'm going to
Okay.
call the third question now. I'm not meant to have displayed the.
Is it possible for more people to join now?
Yes, more persons can still join.
Okay, so for those that are yet to join, click on this link. Let me send the link again. You click on this link. After clicking on the link, Then you can enter where you see joining as participants, you can enter this code inside and then
And you once you put the code, once I click on the question, you're going to see it at your end, and you just click on the correct answer, and that's all. And you just hold on, just leave that screen up.
Okay, Mary, I think let's go on.
Question 3.
Yeah.
Question 3 is life.
Maybe Blessing got the answer from somewhere.
No, it's not, because all the questions asked there were things that were presented on the slides, actually. So if
She
you're
was saying that
yeah. Sure.
yeah.
And it's also a way for us to get familiar. It's not about someone not getting right or getting right also. It's for us to get familiar with the terminologies as well. That's the essence of the question. The next question is life.
Can I change answer? Yes.
I think so, before the timer runs out, possibly.
Okay. Oh my God. The options are so tricky.
Sorry, time up.
I failed.
Okay, here comes the 5th question. Certainly not the last. We have a few seconds left. Okay, I can see everybody has. So the last question. I'm sure nobody's gonna fail this. I'm sure nobody's going to get this right. But it's a little bit tricky. Please, you still have time to check.
I need to be a good teacher. Sorry. This thing is so, like, I almost missed it myself.
Okay.
God, it's so tricky.
So I'm going to start the question 1 again, because a lot of persons missed question 1. So question 1 is, oh, I think I can't make it live anymore. Question 1 live right now.
Yes.
Can we see question 1?
Yes, I can. I saw question 1.
For those who did not get question 1 answer question, can you see it now? Okay, I think not. So we're going to end it there then. So I'm sure you can see the leaderboard. You can see the results on your screen.
Oh my God.
So
Wow.
Blessing is number 1, and we have Faith. Certainly, Ifoma, you're not part of this list. So there's Blessing, Faith, and Glory. Thank you so much for participating.
Yeah. Okay, it was a nice one. Blessing.
Yeah, I'm sure we would have learned something. The idea was not to, but you'd have even be familiar with some of the words there. For the ones you feel saying the correct answer, I say, okay, now I know this is the correct answer to this.
Yeah.
So it's just to make us more familiar with those terminologies. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Meru, in fact, for me, I feel one that I wasn't supposed to feel, and I feel so bad about it, but it's okay. I think I also learned something from it. So quickly, I'll just teach us how to create a Google form very quickly. I'll be sharing my screen. And like, I know that for most of us, we may be thinking about getting into a business or whatsoever thing you are doing, it's good to be able to collect responses from people and see how your business is going or how something about you is going. So one way to do it is through Google Forms. So Google is your friend. You could just type Google Forms. Maybe I should increase this a little. So I could actually go here and type in Google Forms and then press enter. So usually just look at the options. The right option is usually at the top, but not always. Because I've created forms before, it leads me here where you can see some of the forms I've created in the past. So if you haven't used Google Form before, you wouldn't see these recent forms here. You'd see just this line. To create a new form, you can click on blank, but there are already templates that you can use. And it's when starting out, it's better to use templates and later design something on your own. So let's say I want to collect information about people. I could decide to choose on this and click on contact information. So it opens up. Now I can be able to change the things that are here. So maybe I want to change the header. Let's say it's my company and I say my company data or my company info, something of that nature. You can give it a sort of a good name. And then you could put a description as to what the form is. So I'll just write, this is just the test. Since we are collecting information about people, we know that, of course, name, email addresses, phone number, and maybe comments are something you want to know about. So if maybe I don't need this field, I want to remove it, there's this delete symbol over here that you can just delete. And then if I want to add right here, I can click on add a question. Now, so we see this one where we have a star, it means the person has to answer it. Now let's go down here. Maybe I want to ask about nationality and I write nationality here. So there are different ways you could actually have an answer. So when you ask for someone's nationality, is it a short answer or a paragraph or a multiple choice question? So in this case, it will be a short answer, and then you want it to be the person has required. If no, you wouldn't do anything to it. So I want this to be required. So say I want to ask about the sex of the person. For those that fill the form, you see that there is sex. Now it means it's an option, right? So I can put female. And when I click enter, I go to option 2 and click male. In case this doesn't come up, you can always come to this place and then choose the appropriate option. So if I'm happy with this form, I can just click on send. So when I click on send, sometimes you see links. So you could send to an email address, or you could create a link. So usually people use these links, and then you could shorten the link to make it shorter and just copy this link, close, and then you could send it to anybody you want to. So anybody that clicks on the link would find the form you just created. So this is form I just created. Now, after creating my form, I may want to see the people that have responded, and what I do is that I go to responses. So because no one has responded, nothing is here, but let me just try to respond quickly on the form. Sorry. This thing is getting in the way. So let me try to raise this. Oh my God, I'm coming. Just a minute. So this is my company. And then I try to fill the form. This Ifoma Veronica. Okay, Ifoma, let's say my email is this. My address is Nigeria. My phone number is 123. My nationality is Nigerian. And my sex is female, and then I click submit. So when I go back, not here, when I go back to the form, so when I go back to the form, I can go back to the form by clicking on this and going to forms. Then I'll see the forms that I've created. So this is the form contact information here. And then I can then go to responses, and then I see who has responded. So if I want to see a Google Sheet that has the form, I'll just click on Sheets. I could create a new sheet or use an existing spreadsheet. So I'll still leave this as it is and look at and click on Create. So what we have here then is this person that has filled in the address. So I think that's all on the Google form, and there are a lot of things you can actually still do on the forms. So I hope that we've learned one or two things from this, and then we can find it useful in the things we do. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much. My lights went out. Okay. So we can take one question rather. Does anybody have a question? Anybody?
Yes, I have a question. Okay, please, when is somebody expected to maybe find a mentor? As in, when is it like person is an amateur or the person is still improving or something like that?
Okay, Meryl, do you want to take that?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. At what point do you find one? So I would say it can be at the start when you just even want to get started. So, but you have to, many times you have to approach people nobody wants to waste his or her time. Let me use that choice of word. So people need some level of commitment. So you have to have done a bit of homework yourself first, and you can approach the person, oh, I'm just getting started, right? And I need someone to hold my hand through. If you could help me with a curriculum to get started, and I will try as much as possible to keep up. And even for the times when I'm not keeping up, please, I would need you to just, so you can get someone from the very start, so that even the person helps you with and guides you in the right things to learn. But also on your own, you can get started. Some resources have already been shared. I don't know, maybe I will drop some of the resources here also. I'll just type them on the chat window. So you can get started with those resources. But at the point of getting started, you can get a mentor. Hope I answered your question. I think that was Blessing.
Yes, thank you.
You don't have to be good first. People who are good, you don't even need a mentor once you are good. It's us that are still learning that need someone to hold our hands through, right? So from the very start, you can get a mentor.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll be calling it a close. For those that have more questions, you could put it in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. And I really want to appreciate Meryl for making our time to be here for us. We are really, really grateful. And thank you so much. So happy International Women's Day to everyone. You can be a woman that is in tech. Okay, see you. Bye then.